You're still early?
Yeah.
Try it. See if you can sit just a smidge on it early. You know you're... So what I see in Audrey is she's stretching here and then losing her connection with her back. She's walking away from her hands. She's got this hip really coming way up like that. I need to see a coil forward. As she coils, she's going to sit in a softer leg, and then now she'll snap right there. So that's where their body's moving. Now with the reverse load is I put my barrel like that, and I'm pulling hard, almost like it's that, like a bow and arrow. They talk about a bow and arrow like that. So I'm pulling with my hand, and I'm pulling this way with this hand, and now I'm right there, and there's my load. So now my elbow, my back is putting it elbow down like that. So when she does that, she's using her back muscles. She's coiled, back muscles here, not walking away, back muscles here, and now she's on plane. So the difference is here with my back opposed to here and dumping the barrel. Okay.
Now, it may not be the full forearm making that move. It may be the bat doing it mostly. So that would be mostly a wrist move to bring the bat up toward your shoulder versus an elbow move. But it's the same result, whether it's the elbow or the wrist or both. That is a launch quickness ruiner. You will not have launch quickness if you do that. So this first video here is what I'm talking about. See how she's dropping her bat toward her shoulder, okay? This absolutely reduces launch quickness. She does, after she does that, rotate the bat somewhat perpendicular to her forearm. But when this move happens first, that's a slop move. It's not sudden. She has to do that and then snap the bat perpendicular to her forearm. That's a slop move. The fastball is going to get on you, and you're going to be not able to time the off-speed pitch, and you're going to be what we call in between. You're going to be late on the fastball, early on the off-speed pitch, and rarely are you on time for anything, okay? So this closing the elbow is what I call it. May not be the best description of it. Whether it's the forearm coming up toward the shoulder or the bat dropping down to the shoulder, that move I see very, very often in people who think they have a hand pivot point. When they come to me and I'm flipping them balls, we've done our tee work, and I'm flipping balls to them, and I can't see that bat burst, a very high percentage of the time, this is what they're doing. Now, they do that pretty quick. They do that quick enough that you can't see it happen as they swing. In my case, I can tell the swing wasn't quick, and I suspect it's there. And then when I video them, play the video back, I see it, okay? Here's another example of closing the elbow, okay? Bringing the hand up toward the shoulder and then turning it over. That is a slop move, okay? They fall for this because they feel like that move gets them on plane. And in fact, it does. They get on plane. However, it's a slop move which costs them their quickness. You can get your bat on plane very easily without doing this move, okay? Now, here's a couple of videos that show it terribly, okay? I'm closing my elbow, and then I'm turning it, the tripod actually, perpendicular to my forearm. That is a long loop swing, okay? It doesn't play. It's arm action. It's not a fused torso from which our arms are not independent. They're part of the fused torso. This would be proper. That does not have the closing of the elbow first, That's a hand pivot point, and the action is perpendicular to the forearm from the beginning. There's no close and then turn. There's just turn, okay? All right, let's take a look. Miguel Cabrera on the left and Chris Colabello on the right. You have to have a pretty trained eye to see this. I think you can clearly see that Colabello is dropping his bat over his forearm toward his shoulder, the guy on the right, dropping the bat toward his shoulder before he swings. You don't see that move on the left. This closing of the elbow is what I call it. I don't know if there's a better word for it or not, but that's a slop move. Now, Cabrera is on plane without doing it. And if I can get it to play again. Again, this is a partial clip, and most of it happens before the clip, but he is pulling back with his back muscles, to achieve the plane, and then his forearm gets perpendicular to the plane as he does that, and then the elbow comes down. That's adduction. He's adding the elbow to his body, and then if the clip played fully through, he would turn perpendicular to his forearm. So he has a retraction, if you will, of the scap, or a pinch of the scap toward the spine. It stays there. That gets him on plane, and then the elbow adducts and supinates the forearm to hit. Colabello flips his bat back toward his shoulder, over his rear forearm, and then tries to go perpendicular to the forearm. That's a very sloppy, loose move. That action, the closing of the elbow is not in the shoulder socket, but the rest of it is the arm externally rotating in the shoulder socket. Cabrera has no external rotation of his humerus bone. Okay, that's the closing of the elbow. These two are related. The next one is the external rotation of the humerus bone. My understanding that this action here, a humerus in the socket, is external rotation, whether it be from here, from here, from here. External rotation of the humerus moves the hand greatly. I don't think you can externally rotate your humerus and not the hand. Okay? I don't see this action in hitting. What I see is this kind of action. The difference being, in this, the elbow is the pivot point. In this, the hand is the pivot point. I don't see how you can have a tight hand pivot point in any way with external rotation. I do see a hand pivot point without external rotation. The actual movement of the arm, what is happening here? My humerus is coming toward my body. It is not spinning my hand around. As my humerus comes toward my body, my forearm supinates. That doesn't give me this action. It gives me this action, a hand pivot point versus an elbow pivot point. Okay? That move right there, where the hands go up and the elbow lowers, is external rotation of the humerus bone. Okay? It's sloppy, it's sluggish, it takes away your launch quickness, and equally important, it takes away your stretch. I have homework for you. I want you to do what you see here, and I want you to see if you can keep your stretch when your hands go up and over. When the hand raises like that and the elbow comes under, you cannot keep your scap, your back stretched. You can't keep that stretch against your leg. When that external rotation happens, you may have the nice stretch that we teach, and as soon as that external rotation happens, you release your stretch and you bleed out. That's exactly what he's doing here. That's why he's getting to his front leg. Okay? It's impossible. If you do what I teach, get your back stretched, your scap pinched a little bit, you're fused into a unit so your arms don't work independently, and then you tilt your torso and snap your hands and adduct your rear humerus, supiduct I call it, adduct and supination at the same time, supiduct. If you do that movement, your hand will stay right in place. All right? And when that hand stays right in place and your torso tilts a little bit, you're on plane, and when you pull the trigger, you've got a beautiful swing plane.